Welcome to Marketing Tomorrow. I'm here with Marc Fey, Outsource CMO at MKF Strategic Marketing. Thanks for joining us, Marc.
It's great to be with you today, Nelly. Thank you for having me.
So right now you're in New York, right?
Just north of New York, about an hour. I'm right on the shoreline of Connecticut, Long Island, right on the Long Island Sound.
That's great. And
Yeah.
if you had to share one marketing tip that could change a brand tomorrow, what would it be?
That tip would be to stop selling products.
Or what?
Start telling people who they are when they're a part of your community, when they're connected to you. Most brands get stuck talking all about features. They get wrapped up in the details of that. One of the rebranding projects I have right now with a golf course, private golf course, is about they talk about the golf course, they talk about the awards, but really we're talking about the experience that people have when they are part of that golf course. And so we're telling the stories of what it means to be a part of the community. And I think we can look at all of the products and services that we're selling from that standpoint, that we're a part of that community. We're connected to the people who also use those products and services.
So in other words, you said that it's not about features, it's more about emotion.
Exactly right. It's about the story. So instead of focusing on the features and talking about the measurements of everything and how it's better than the other product, inspire your customers, your potential customers, and what it's going to feel like to be a part of the community that owns that or has that experience or that product or service.
You remember about Apple when Steve Jobs, they went very far, and then at one point he said, okay, we have to get back to the roots. So
yes,
I feel that you talk about the roots of every brand, right?
That's exactly right. Simon Sinek shared, the difference between brands that talk about what they sell versus, and then some companies talk about how their product is different, but the companies that talk about why their product is different, that's people want to connect to the why. And that's really the story. I have a StoryBrand certified guide with StoryBrand.com. And that's really the idea behind that is that we're this trusted guide and our customer is the hero of the story. We're telling their story. We're making them the hero of the story. Our job is to show empathy and to show the authority that we have. We can give them a plan to overcome the problem that they're facing. But it's really about our customer's story.
So when you said that, okay, so we understand it's about the why, but how you make it happen? Like,
Yeah.
What is the process?
Yeah. So the process I follow is very much along the lines of StoryBrand, which is we talk about first, if the hero of the story is my customer or client, we're going to ask the problem, what's their obstacle? What are they trying to overcome? And then we want to present ourselves as a trusted guide. So we want to empathize. We know what it feels like to have that problem. And then we also want to say, hey, we can help you with that problem. We're not going to solve the problem for you. We're not going to ride in on a white horse and solve the problem and be the hero of the story. We're going to help you to solve the problem. So we leave the customer and the client in the center of the story. And when we do that, all of a sudden now we become that trusted guide. And we build that trust through educating them, through making their life better, through giving them things before we ask for them to pay for things, for example. And then the final piece of that is to give them a plan, which is a very simple plan. So we don't ask them to do something very complicated. We give them a very simple call to action that they're able to take action on immediately.
And for you, what is the biggest mistake people make when they try to make the why?
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake is they put themselves in the position of the hero of the story. They're so excited about their product or their service and the way their product solves problems that they inadvertently talk all about the story of their product rather than the story of their client or their customer.
So, for example, like tomorrow, I want to figure out my own why. What should I do first?
If you're the client or the customer or the marketer?
Yes, clients.
The client. So we're going to start with a problem. What's the problem that we're facing? And then from there, we start to see ourselves. That's where the marketer is really important because the marketer can help provide the advice, the direction, that trusted guide role that helps them to accomplish their why. A lot of times we look at the features of a product and we think that people are buying those features, but
Yeah.
really they're looking for that experience. They're looking for the feeling. They're looking for the connection, and that's where, as marketers, we can focus on that instead of the features.
And do you think the features should answer pain points? At some point, you need to answer a need.
Yes, absolutely. When you talk about that obstacle, that's when we talk about pain points. We talk about, and that's where the empathy comes in. We say, boy, this is a tough problem. You must feel overwhelmed. You must feel a bit defeated that you can't overcome this problem. Hey, you're not alone. A lot of people feel that. And so we can show that empathy and then continue on with the story, that it doesn't have to remain that way. There's a
All
way
right.
through it.
And so is it different between the brands and the personal branding of the CEO? What is for you, like, do you have to be more focused on carrying out the brand as a CEO? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I think that big brands have to focus on brand because there's already an awareness of their brand. So one of the mistakes that small businesses or people with unknown products or services, they focus too much on the brand right away, and they don't focus on that part of the story that their product or solution. Now, their brand is still informing the story, but they can't. It doesn't do good to put a lot of money toward awareness if you're not also connecting it to a sales funnel. And so over time it becomes the most important thing, but it's not the first thing.
And so, what are the tools or apps or methods?
I think when you have a big company, you have a lot of resources, but I think a lot of the folks that maybe you and I talk to don't have a ton of resources. So there are quite a few resources out there. I use Fathom .ai or Fathom.video, which is captures all of my meetings, captures all of my follow up. Everything is in Fathom. I use ChatGPT and other research driven AI. And then, for example, StoryBrand AI is a great resource where you can build a brand inside of that, and then you can use the work you've done in building the brand to then produce assets like blogs or one-liners or even a homepage. It'll produce a homepage. But if you put the work into building the brand, really spend the time on that, then you get a great quality product asset on the other side.
Do you have quick example where this worked very well?
Well, I'm working on a rebranding for a golf course right now, a private golf course.
Yes.
They have been around for 66 years. They got their focus is on their course, on their facilities, on their awards that they've gotten over the years. And when I got together with them, I pulled the story out, and we had this wonderful time of telling stories. And two things happened. One is we started to capture the brand, which was awesome. We did some archetyping and we did some this, not that, different exercises. But what was so exciting was they got excited about who they were. And that's that connecting back to who they are. That's what the power of story does, is it inspires. It doesn't just inform, but it inspires. And really the challenge is we've got to hit the head. We've got to, address what people are thinking, the questions they have, but they make decisions based on their heart.
Yeah.
And that comes out of the feelings. And so that's story. And we're I've got one more meeting with them coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're going to launch a new name, a new brand. It's going to be exciting.
And what I understand from what you say is that when you address a market, whatever is B2B or B2C, it's the same. Like when you address a B2B someone, so you need to speak with him like if it was B2C, right?
Yes. Well, and that's another great question. I was head of marketing at a software company. It was B2B, but what we realized is that we were really selling to specific people within the company. First, the frontline worker was going to vet who would be on the short list. Then the vice president was going to create the demo that the team saw, and then the CFO would make the decision on the price. So you had to address each audience. Even though it was B2B, you really were selling to individuals, more account-based marketing than just the business in general.
So marketing is more about individuals, like you have to address one person instead of like the mass markets.
It's like we say, know who's in the room,
Yeah.
and position your message based on who's in front of you, not just on what you want to say, but rather what they need to hear.
Yes. And if you had $1,000 right now to spend on marketing tomorrow, where
Yeah.
would you put it?
I would put it in an event where I could bring together clients and future clients, people who are looking to become clients, and put them in the same room where they could tell stories, create a memory, create a special experience with them, and help them, both clients, to share their excitement, and for the future clients, the soon to be clients, to catch that inspiration and that emotion, that feeling of what it means to be a part of that company or that product or service.
And does that work for big company, or is it more like when you are a small company?
Actually, it works for big companies. When I was head of marketing at a financial advisory firm, we would do dinners, big dinners, or we would
Yes.
trade shows. Same thing. You're trying to create these experiences, and they can happen at one booth, one little kiosk at a trade show booth, or it can happen in a designated room where you do a party for honoring a certain luminary in the industry. But it's that experience that we share together that remains with us.
So you still focus on the human, right? Like human
Yes,
first. Tools are here
absolutely.
to help, but human first.
Exactly. Tools empower us to be human, not the
Yeah,
other way around.
that's perfect. That's a
Yeah.
marketing sentence.
There we go.
So where
Good.
can people follow you?
They can come to my website at www.mkfstrategicmarketing.com, or just come to marcfey.com.
One short sentence to inspire marketers listening today.
Yes, trust your ability to tell stories, and make sure the stories you tell are the stories of your clients and customers.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you, Nelly. Great
That
to be
was
with you.
powerful. And to everyone listening, go make marketing magic happening tomorrow. So share it to the world. See you.